I'm one of the learning resource teachers here at PDCI. There are 3 learning resource teachers this semester, Mrs. Wright, Mrs. Parkinson, and myself. And we have a variety of responsibilities in helping to meet the needs of all of our students here at PDCI. One of our primary responsibilities that we've been spending a lot of time on this fall, in the last month or so, is working on developing IEPs. And those are the individual education plans that students have. Students that have learning disabilities or autism or intellectual or physical disabilities. They may have social or emotional or needs around anxiety as well that teachers need to be aware of. So these education plans detail a lot of the information around what specific accommodations or modifications they need for their learning. So each fall we spend a bit of time updating those and looking really closely at that information and sharing that with teachers. We spend time facilitating meetings with teachers and parents to make sure that those IEPs are up to date and they have the current information that is required to best program for a student. All students at PDCI are integrated or are a part of the classes and courses that are going on here at school. Students that have programming that's fairly specific to their needs are attending classes and being an integrated part of what happens here at PDCI. So that sometimes requires a lot of support, working with the teacher to make sure their programming is best suited for them. That support can be through conferencing with the teacher and developing those strategies to modify the course itself and the things that they're doing in the classes. That support sometimes is in the form of one-on-one, more intensive support for a student. They may require that they have contact with an EA fairly consistently throughout the day or in different courses. The learning resource teachers like myself are in and out of classrooms quite often to provide support to all students as well. And so support to all of our students comes in a lot of different shapes and forms. One time during the day that we find that students do need support outside of the classroom is during their transition times, especially in the morning, during break time, and at lunch. And so what we do is provide them with some alternatives to the cafeteria, alternatives to just hanging out in the hallway. And we open up a couple of classrooms to have students drop in. They can be supervised, or they're in a space where they're supervised and they have an opportunity to have sort of a more structured, supervised location where they feel a lot more comfortable than being out in the general population during times between classes or at lunch. And it works really well. Students really look for that supervised time and are really comfortable in the environments that we provide. Mrs. Parkinson runs a great program at lunch where the kids are watching vintage cartoons, and it gives them a chance to touch base with us and have sort of a home base for themselves where they know there's going to be some predictable people there that they're comfortable with and that they can have a chance to talk to about things if they need to. As learning resource teachers, we often look for support ourselves in helping to meet the needs of our students. And so we do engage and enlist a lot of supports from other board staff. We do have staff that work specifically with students that have hearing issues, vision issues, staff that support behavior in students, and all of those folks come into our building when we ask for their help. And they help develop plans with us for particular students to help meet their needs. They often are here, several times a month, and we have students that they work with right now that we're meeting with them frequently to make sure that they're successful in their courses. So we're not alone. We do have a whole group of people that surround us and help support us with things that we aren't necessarily the experts on, and they're able to provide us with the needed information that we may not have just right at our fingertips to support our students here. One of our responsibilities as well as learning resource teachers and meeting students' needs is to be sure that we're giving students enough support and preparation and the accommodations that they need to be successful in the provincial testing that happens in high school. So in grade 9, students write the provincial math test, the QAO math test, and there are a number of students with IEPs that require extra time. They require perhaps a scribe to write their answers if they're better communicating orally than they are in writing. They might require an alternate setting or you know, some prompts to keep going or some breaks on a periodic basis. That applies to the literacy test as well that happens in grade 10. That's certainly a more intensive process. It is a diploma requirement. You need to pass the literacy test to get your diploma, and we work really hard with students to get them ready for that. Usually one-on-one, we work with them individually and look at what where their skills are and what they need to improve on, so that when they're faced with the literacy test, they're ready to go. They're in the best shape that they can be. It still means for a lot of students that they require accommodations to get through that test, a lot of extra time, scribing that allows them to communicate orally and we can write for them. A lot of students use assistive tech that allows them to listen to a longer piece of reading or a longer piece of text if they struggle with their reading. All of those accommodations we work to put in place for the students the days that they write those provincial tests.
And I'm an educational assistant at PDCI. And basically I have a few hats that I wear in this field. We work a lot with spec ed children, students that need extra help with spec ed. And so we incorporate strategies and accommodations for them within the classroom so that they're more successful. I also run the Toast to Go program, which is funded basically by the Food for Thought. And it is ran by everybody in the school, and everyone in the school is allowed to participate in it. Any kids that come in that are maybe a little, you know, they're very early mornings, so if they don't get time for breakfast in the morning, they're more than welcome to come down and have their Toast to Go. Basically, we get some food actually from Tim Hortons is gracious enough to give us some food. So they send their day-olds, and the kids love that. And then we also support it with toast, and we also use bananas and apples because we like the healthy fruit. And we have volunteers that come in basically to help us prepare it. Some of them are students, some of them are students that want to gain extra community hours. So it works really well.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Wright, and I am a learning resource teacher here in the Student Services Department. I love working in Student Services because I get to work with amazing people every day. I get to work with fabulous kids who have learning challenges, physical challenges, sometimes emotional and mental health challenges as well. But I also get to work with some amazing staff like Kara Fleming, who is our department head, and she's just fabulous, very caring and compassionate person, as well as all of our educational assistants. They go above and beyond every day to do their job, and I get to work with the newest and latest technology. I get to learn about innovations in the world of student services, and it's just a great place to be every day. I wouldn't change it for $1 million.